Hi guys, last week Equinox sent us a lot of interesting stuff in the news, just like the end of the Tumult Championships, the new Worlds, a new season patch, and even more. So let's dive into the Tumult Championships first. The results, as a lot of people already know, Ordis won it by a small margin of Izmir, which was for me very surprising as our local scene doesn't have a lot of Izmir players. Also, if I looked at the results of the last weeks, Izmir wasn't that prevalent. But yeah, still a lot of Izmir wins. We'll also see that Bravos, Muna, and Lyra, all three are, well, a little bit of the same quality, just behind the Ordis and Izmir factions. And Axiom is the one that is at the bottom. I think that Traced and Subhash get a power surge of the Haven unsuspension, but it was not enough to, get in more wins. I think everyone expected this result to be there, and that's also based if you are trying to win the first place and try to get that Sunisa met. You want to make sure that you have a competitive deck. Orders and Izmir were the two factions that were, not specific orders, but Sigismund and Fanas were supposed to be the top dogs. So if you want to win, you bring one of those, and it gets a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I know also a lot of players, including myself, tried one of the other factions, wanted to win something more, maybe even the Ordis scout card, played some Ordis, and won the tournament. It's if you want to win something, you bring the best, and Ordis and Izmir were clearly the best of the two. That resulted in the Kurakami Unbound card. I think this one, the common, the art is very very nice. The card is just a 6/5 5/5/5 with an hand effect exhaust all cards in reserve. If you play this, it will get you some card advantage. If your opponent can't remove it, you're probably also winning one side, specifically if you play this on turn 6 with 6 mana available. I think this is just a solid common. The rare feels a little bit weird to me. Maybe if I can play a little bit with it, it might differ, but as soon as you want to play this first effect, exhaust all cards in reserve, that's still like the common, but the rare then says target expedition that's ahead, each of its characters gain a sleep. And I'm not really sure how this would work. If you are playing this like you are the first player, you exhaust all cards in reserve, and there probably is not that much on the field yet, so sleep doesn't really help you a lot there. You can, if you play this one itself in a expedition that's ahead, you can give it self a sleep as well. But I don't really see yet how this second effect is helping you getting a win. Even if you have a lot of Muna that anchors a lot of stuff, and there, I can see that happening. But other than that, I think for me the effect's a little bit contradiction, because you want to exhaust all cards first, and the second effect you want to play last. And maybe that's it. Maybe you don't play this card first. Maybe you play this against something like a Venom with loads of cards in reserve, like your second or third card, to make sure that you, exhaust still some cards in reserve and lock them out, and all the other cards that are played try to get a sleep. But I'm not really sure how this is working. And for the Izmir out of faction one, target opponents put a card from their hand in reserve, then exhaust all cards in reserve. This is a semi-Baku. You don't need to discard something, but just put it in reserve, and you can't use it for this turn. I think this mechanic is much better than the Baku one in gameplay wise, because it still feels bad, but not as bad as just having no card at all anymore. It does cost 7, however, so I'm not really sure if you're playing this like in the end game and people don't have much cards in hands. You will probably go at least 1-1. Maybe you can get a 2-0 with this card. Specifically, if your opponent's playing first, have 2 cards in hand, they play 1 from hand, and then you drop this, well, the card they have needs to go into reserve, and then all is exhausted. I think this is probably the best of the 3. I feel this is, well, has some playability yet, so I think this is a very cool card. If you're about the lore, the news also have 2 very good lore articles as well. Yeah, you should watch that as well. After the Tumult Championships has been concluded, Whispers from the May season patch also came out. And well, this is what we were hoping for. They're talking a little bit about the age of Sigismar, that Sigismar is well, there together with Afanas being a real threat of the meta. They say the effects of the latest patch, Osma gave some tools back to Sigismar with the resupply instead of the draw, but that was probably not enough to make the hero be so good. And also Haven got back into Subhush and Traced decks, but well, are not that good enough yet to become one of the meta contenders at the top. With the spoilers we see from Whispers in the Mage, I think Axiom gets there. At least Traced and Subhash might be able to get themselves back to the top, but we will see. One of the things they talk about next is that Alted's competitive format is a hard asking balance, because it's hard for them to make sure that everyone is happy, right? Because some changes, if you are changing things and you are playing the faction and your faction gets completely wiped out, just like the Haven ban, it's not a fun factor for yourself as well. On the other side, if you're not doing anything, it still can be hard for other players to have fun, just like the current Sigismar meta. People that played Sigismar and loved Sigismar, they were like, yes, this is the best meta ever. And people that hated Sigismar were like, well, this sucks. So it's a balance, and you can never do everyone right. The first thing they are mentioning is that the rule change. The expeditions will move to the same region as the player's other expedition, or move a region further from the starter region than the player's other expedition. The endgame procedure begins. So that means that if you have the small step giant leap or a grand endeavor being on the field or being played, as soon as you come together, the game would end. With the new set of rules, this not happens anymore. The expedition progression will only be checked at the end of the day, so that if you are playing small step giant leap or grand endeavor and you will get to the your tokens to each other together, then you still have to wait the entire turn to see what the results will be. So I think this is a good change for the game. Small step giant leap was and grand endeavor as well, were sometimes frustrating to be played against, specifically against the Eastmere faction, where you would go like at best go 1-1, tie every round, and then put a small step giant leap there. If you are the second player and it was a mirror match between Eastmere or Lyra, the one who started the day first put the card up and would win. So if you go 1-1 every time, that means that the player started first would win. So and that was a little bit sad. So I think this rule change is very good for the game. The small step giant leap and grand endeavor seem play. Maybe small step giant leap is 6 mana for a one-time progression. That happens at the end of the day. That might not be good enough for now. to be played, well, as varied as they did. And Grandiafer can still be played to lock out the matchups and getting there, because, well, 6 mana, it's a landmark, it stays on the field, it can maybe give you 2 or maybe 3 progressions, and that's worth it still, I think, even with the tough 2 can be removed, or hard to be removed. So I think that one might still be seen play. Then the first of the 2 suspended cards is Baba Yaga, the Orders one. I think this card should be changed. I played a lot of Sigismar as well, and I know that if you are drawing your Baba Yagas and your Attorneys early game and getting that card draw in, you are always in a good spot. In games where you didn't see one of those 2 cards at all, it felt like the deck wasn't performing that great. So targeting one of the 2 cards that might be a problem it was needed, I think. Side effect is that this is not only banned for Sigismar, but also for Gulrang and Waru as well, and I think that hurt even more. They need the draws to make sure Waru is now a hero. Like, if you play a Bureaucrat, they will get a sleep. Well, Baba Yaga, you could play without getting a sleep, and I think that there, not having the card draw is hurting a little bit. And for Gulrang, it's the same. This was just a very good card with the good stats and the draw you want to see and cycle through your decks to not getting stuck with your cards there as well. So I hope this the new set will have some changes for Waru and for Gulrang to make sure that they will get a little bit more into power, and Sigismar don't. As they say, they have several promising options. The 2 options I hear a lot about is like changing the stats back to the common, so that it becomes a 2/1/2, and it stays the same, or maybe the same stats but for a resupply. That also will get the card feel a little worse at the moment. If you want to have substitution, you could play the Runescribe. That's like the 2 mana 1/2 with, if you control token, resupply, at least the rare. It isn't that good like Baba Yaga, but still, it's a good change for now. Also, Helping Hand, the Izmir version only, has been suspended. They say, well, the win rate is far too high when paired with Afanas, an obvious inclusion during deck building. The synergy is too powerful for the current metagame, and it's easily replayed and abused through some of the best unique cards available in Izmir. So for Afanas, this is like a 1 mana 2 boost, loses fleeting, and that was, well, very strong indeed. In Izmir you could also get this card back to your hand from the reserve, so you can play it again for 1 mana and do it all over again. Combine this with the Kadiran Dancer, Mage Dancer. This was one of the absolute beasts. You can just 1 mana trigger the rare condition of drawing the card at the end at dusk. The best unique cards like the Spindle Harvesters, the Rats, the other cards that let you turn back spells from your reserve to your hand. It was always Helping Hand. So now that this card is banned, you see Afanas is I think in a good spot. They're still very good, but not as oppressive as they were. Specifically, their characters can't lose fleeting that easily anymore. You need to get more cards in to make them more anchored, like meditation training and stuff. I think this is a very good change. Also here, they're also saying that they have several promising options for the erratas of this card. They might give the spell fleeting, maybe it's become a 2/2 cost, maybe they try to be more like the rare, or something like that. Also with all the things that, spells that lose fleeting, the rare version of the brothels might not be the best, but I think we will see in 2 months what will happen. Also, they're talking about the current meta game. Maybe if in 2 months when the mid-season patch is there, this card can be unsuspended in the way it is right now because the meta has evolved. The other ones have also become stronger, and maybe that is also a good change. Good change. Then the Foundry Armorer, all Unix has been suspended to all Unix has been suspended. And basically what it says is that whenever a character you control gains one more boost, now it becomes non-token characters, so you can't boost the brass book themselves, and you cannot any target expedition. It becomes my expedition, so that wherever you are laying the armor in, that is the expedition that all the tokens get spawned to. And I think this change is very good. It still has the multiple triggers, endless multiple triggers, but all the tokens will spawn in the same expedition. And yeah, I think that is a very good change. Just know that if you are playing in a fan faction format like the two faction format, just play hooked, get it to the other expedition, and you can go all shenanigans with 2 expeditions. But still, I think this change is very good for the card. Also, Garrick is now unsuspended again. I'm not sure why this took so long for this change, but this says like if you control if creature you control one more boost, you can target Garrick to give fleeting. So the loop here will be broken. Yeah, so that's great. It's almost set 3 now, so Garrick Unix couldn't be played the entire set 2. That's a shame. But well, as soon as the new set comes out, we already seeing some really good Garrick being there, being played over and over for value, like draw a card, resupply, give something else a boost and fleeting, or remove fleeting. So it's already some Garricks already there, very good. So for the suspended cards now, Moonlight Jellyfish, all Uniques are still suspended, and Baba Yaga and Helping Hand, the both Orders and Eastman Rares, will get onto the list as well. The Mage Dancer and the Attorney Rare are on the watch list. Nothing happens right now, but they will be kept an eye on. And also the Uniques with repeated abilities like whenever you play a spell, resupply, anchor abilities, and those kinds of stuff. The token spawners and orders, they will be monitored their impact. And well, maybe in 2 months the situation is different like now, and I think it's fair. If you want to know the current list of suspended cards, etc., go over to altatcg.blog. There we have also a extended list of cards that are changed. And still they are working for players compensation. So hopefully we will see what that means in a future news article. And lastly, they announced the World Championship from locals champion to best champion. So the Tumult Championship has gone the first iteration. So that's fine. And from June, they will start up the World Championships qualifiers. They have 3 stages. First, the qualifiers itself. Then you have a last chance. I think it's in Paris. And afterwards, they will do the finals. So there were 24 places available from the qualifiers from June to September. And afterwards, they will have, I think, 3 tournaments on BJ as well. So if you can't participate locally, you can go to BJ online. So hopefully there will be 24 players that will get qualified. Then the last chance to qualify in France, autumn 2025. The last 8 spots will be there in the event where the finals are also taking place. And you can get that last one, and you can get that last chance qualifier as well. Lastly, the finals itself, a 32-player championship to see who will become the world championship of Altered, the first one. So I'm trying to qualify just like a lot of other ones, but we will see. What will you get? First, the Beyond the Gauge, the Adventure Pack, a foil cards, just like the ones you get for the Tumult Championship, but then from Beyond the Gauge, the cards are a little bit thickness. They're foil, they're gorgeous, so I'll try to get my hands on one of those myself. You have some Hero World Championship boosters. Those boosters will get 1 card per booster pack. Yeah, and I think they are looking great with the signature of the artist herself. Just 18 new cards to collect. And also, if you're becoming again like the scout cards from the Tumult Champions, if you are the best of your champion of your faction, you get one of those cards. Here we see 3. I know that I think the Bravos one will become the tiny Jin. So this one is looking very, very, very good as well. If you're getting a top 8, you will get the exclusive playmat, the Hestia's Kitchen, and I think this is absolutely gorgeous. And well, everyone who gets it are very lucky. And if you win it all, travel expense and accommodation to Paris World Final you will be also be arranged for you, so you will get those. You have no problem to get to the championship once you are qualified. So lastly, in this news, you have a lot of places and countries where the qualifiers will be held in. So yeah, I think it's great. There's also some broadcasting opportunities, a judge program, and also the comprehensive rules and tournament policies will be updated with the new set. So take those in account as well. So thank you for watching. I will do some deck list later as soon as there are a little bit more cards revealed. I started already for the theory crafting of set 3. So stay tuned if you're watching for those decks as well.